All right, here comes Rory with our...
Spy report.
Thanks for the update, Rory. What do you have for us?
Well, what they're saying right now is that it is...
Who's they?
CNN.com is saying that they are suspecting Al-Qaeda, which we already knew, and that at least one person was killed and dozens wounded. And there was a lot of... there was definitely Americans there, and it was...
Americans are part of the wounded?
Yes. Yes, it was definitely American officials there, and it was resulted from a vehicle detonating.
So someone drove a car bomb into this place.
Exactly. And they said that the blast was just so loud that it shattered windows and stuff for like miles.
It's going to be a crazy world we're going to live in. It's going to make the Matrix look like it's just laid back.
The Matrix. You'll love to live in the Matrix.
I know. Put me back in that pod. Shave my head. Put a couple of jacks in the back of my head, and I'm going to lay down and get some sleep.
Plug me in and just put me in the ooze.
What I didn't like is that thing down your throat.
Oh, yeah, that looked rough.
Like an elephant's D. You got to have down your throat.
And the thing where, in the first Matrix, where all those hoses started popping out of his back, boy, that really looked rough on the old spine.
And a ping, ping, ping. That's where the sound got to me. When does it start, Friday?
May 15th. That's this Friday?
Yeah.
Thursday.
They're
opening it a day early.
You going Thursday?
I'm gonna try to.
What about Larry Fishburne?
You said you weren't gonna go see the Matrix.
I know, but it's just...
Why would you try to slip in? I'm gonna try to.
Now that it's getting so close, now I'm just... I don't know if I can not ban it.
It's Rory's favorite movie ever, The Matrix. But he got on a kick of, I'm not gonna see movies of people who protested the war in Iraq. And that's Larry Fishburne.
It was also Mikey D's. They must have been like salt and pepper. Mikey D and him grew up together. We got to do a radio psychic.
Radio psychic.
On, do you think that The Matrix is going to be good or disappoint?
I think it's going to be good.
I will say it has to disappoint. There's no possible way. The way everybody you know loves The Matrix. And you'll never hear somebody go, I didn't care much for The Matrix. Women will say to you, oh man, The Matrix effing freaked me out.
People do get fanatical about The Matrix, even as far back as when they started doing any sort of preview for it in the movie theater, even if it was just showing those green lines of numbers going around.
Oh, The Matrix Reloaded?
Yeah.
Yeah, by that time it was already a big hit. Although no one saw The Matrix coming though, right? The Matrix was just one of those movies you wandered into and went, what the F?
Star Wars was like that, the first one.
I had no clue what The Matrix was even about.
Did you go back?
I went 3 times in like the first couple of weeks. But I just saw it looked great fight scenes and stuff like that. I had no clue what it was even about though. I was like, all right, maybe she's like an alien or something, because you see Carrie-Anne Moss jumping around. I had no clue what the whole premise was.
She's still so hot. I don't know what it is about her. She's so affable.
Keanu called her lazy.
Well, he might be right about that. I'm just going by the hot thing.
The first Terminator was like that as well.
Yeah, you're very right, because Arnold was like a joke back in those days, like he is now. But Arnold was just like a muscle man. Nobody, he might as well have been Lou Ferrigno, like a half an idiot. And then after that is when he became a superstar.
And people started loving this butt-kicking robot that all of a sudden we saw.
Right, and everybody waited for that T2 to come out, and to me that was disappointing. So I hope The Matrix Reloaded is...
I loved it.
Yeah, I thought T2 was good, but I never watch it again like I do the first Terminator. Like the first Terminator comes on, I'm watching. The second Terminator, I don't care.
Well, the second Terminator, the very cool effects that you're going nuts, the people turning into liquid and stuff. And next thing you know, Capri Sun's using it in their commercials.
Right.
Kids are turning into juice packs.
All right, but you can say the same thing about Bullet Time, and yet still, that Matrix holds up, because it holds up as a story, not just on cool effects. The weird thing with that second Terminator 2 was that suddenly, hasta la vista, babe. You're like, what the F are we doing? Stop being so stupid.
Everything in the first one was Sarah Connor.
Well, in the first one he was the bad guy, and the second one he was the good guy.
So now he speaks Espanol?
And then the bad Terminator was like 140 pounds.
Right, Robert Patrick.
You can't go out and find a big Terminator to scare us? It's got to be a little thin guy with hooks for hands.
The hook hand scared the hell out of me.
So, yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I don't care how good this second Matrix is going to be. We're going to be disappointed. it's going to be too difficult to make it good enough to please all of us.
I think it's going to be really, really good.
The one thing I'm worried about is that has it lost its, originality?
Yes.
And that's the thing. It's like you're going to see probably the same things that you saw in the first one, so it just doesn't have the same.
Charlie's Angels had bullet time and people hanging in midair. Shrek had it. It's been effed to death. Maybe they should. Now I'm panicking. Now I might not even go.
Well,
no, you have to go.
They did say that, with the bullet time in the first one, they said they made a lot more advancements and there's going to be a lot more new camera stuff in the second one.
But remember, it was the story that was so effing cool.
Right.
You know what the whole thing was about, right? Don't believe the government.
Exactly.
And yet here you are. Martin Scorsese is the devil.
So Phantom Menace in Star Wars was really cool effects where they had all those layers and layers of robots that they were dropping down and those big landscapes that they did completely with the computer. But, when the story comes around, you're not who's saying, hey, let's pop in Phantom Menace tonight?
Hey, I got news for you. Who's even saying let's pop in the first 3 Star Wars? Those things did not hold up. And I know in the 70s, I saw them a million times. I thought they were great. But do they hold up? No.
If you go watch that
first Star Wars, takes a year. They're walking across the sand. And then the second Star Wars, not as good as people remember, but definitely better than the first. And then the third one was basically a Teddy Ruxpin movie.
The third one drove me nuts with those little fur balls. They were supposed to be Wookiees. That would have been cool. Why vary from that script? To sell the toys?
I'm telling you, there's not a damn good Star Wars out there. And I've been to every one of them.
I think this next one that's going to come out that actually has Darth Vader become Darth Vader, that has to be the darkest one out of all of them, because that's what I'm looking forward for.
Guess what?
What's that?
The director, if that's what he's calling himself now, the toy maker, is shot. He's got nothing left. He cannot write a script that humans can read.
The only problem with the next one, though, it's got to be, is because there's so much missing. So that this one's got to be like the biggest one. It's got to have so much.
You know what's missing? Lucas's soul and his head. He stinks now. Here's the reviews from all the last Star Wars for him.
You stink.
And that's it.
Aww.
And somebody has got to say it. And it stunk from the beginning.
What about the last one, Attack of the Clones, where they had a diner with robot waitresses?
Yeah, I really...
And a monster chef.
Yeah, I really felt like he was taking us seriously. It might as well have been Planet of the Apes with the little monkeys playing basketball. These directors stink anymore. And I'm just terrified that this is going to happen in The Matrix. And The Matrix holds up. It's 4 years you sit and watch it. And I got to agree with Mikey. That first Terminator holds up. And there wasn't a lot of special effects. These guys get confused and think, hey, we like really great special effects. Only if the story's great. Then you can sit and watch it. But even now, can you sit around and watch E.T. and feel the same way you felt in 83?
I don't think I've ever sat around and watched E.T. again.
I've tried. It stinks on ice.
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever tried to watch that movie again since 83.
I did 2 weeks ago.
What did you think?
It just doesn't hold up. Not at all.
And I bet you cried like a baby in 83.
In 83, yeah. I mean...
You were sobbing. Big tears. Yet what the hell happens over time?
What went wrong with that movie, Mikey? What didn't hold up for you?
That stupid E.T. He's nothing.
It's just not believable.
It's a puppet.
And
it's called E.T. Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
He's nothing. He's got nothing happening. And somebody has to get the word out about that. And I'll tell you, here's the thing. And people make this mistake. The first Jaws, it's great. It still holds up.
Yep.
Second Jaws, better sharks. It stinks. Third, it gets progressively worse. So finally, it's the Star Wars movies.
What about the one in 3D?
Jaws 3D.
Now, if you watch that Friday the 13th, bad movie to begin with, cheap horror movie. All right, but that's cool. That's what you're going there for. You are nowhere nearly as scared in any other Friday the 13th as you are in that first one, where it's the crazy mom and Jason isn't even there yet.
Right, Jason doesn't come until the second one, but the third one was good because it wasn't 3D. Yeah, that's why I liked it so much.
Everything that says 3 and D, he shows up for.
Oh, you're going to like Spy Kids this summer.
Yeah.
Spy Kids 3D.
Yeah.
Smoke a half a joint and go to that.
They waited till that little girl blossomed before they decided to do a big 3D movie.
Has anybody done porn 3D?
Wow.
Not that I know of, but that's a great idea.
You may be onto something.
Oh, look who it is. Ready? Harry hears us being enthusiastic, so he wants to come in and throw a wet blanket.
What about the first Police Academy? I thought was hilarious, but everything after that was like crap.
Can I tell you something? The boys are in here talking. All right? Not the children. You're honestly, while we're sitting here talking about George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, you're going to be bringing the police academies.
If you saw
Is that right, Hightower?
If you saw the first one, it was
Yes,
actually
I saw it.
funny.
It was crap.
Well, I think what it is the other six.
You know what? You're our Steve Gutenberg. That's your problem.
That's where he thought it all went downhill when they lost Gutenberg.
Kevin, you're on Manifest.
Hey, Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, what do you guys think about the first Batman? You think that one holds up with all the lousy ones after the first?
It holds up when you compare them, but that is another really long movie.
The thing that works there is, for me, is the Joker. Nothing else really works at all. I personally thought the best Batman was George Clooney.
George Clooney was the worst one. You know it, and you just do it to get my goat.
No, he was the best.
He was awful, and he was an even worse Bruce Wayne. How do you pull that off?
You know, here's what I don't understand, Fuzzy. Why do you blame Clooney for this? When you turn around and look at, you're saying that Clooney destroyed that franchise. How come Clooney was the only person out of all of them to walk away with a career? All the villains were effed. I was the end of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He never has been able to get off the mat since. Uma Thurman was gigantic before that. She's gone. Have you ever seen Robin again?
Here is my problem with Clooney.
Batgirl is gone. She had a gigantic career before that.
Oh, God, she was awful.
The director is now doing films for $13 a piece. He's shooting the smallest budget films. But when you really look at that movie, all those people were hot when they went into it. And only Clooney, the great George Clooney, walked out unscathed. Everybody else's career took a bloodbath after that. Whatever happened to that Robin kid? He tried, I'm trying to marry a girl in 24 hours or something like that.
Oh, yeah, and all the brides were chasing him.
And that kid used to be on the front of, movie magazines. He's dead in the water.
Where is Chris O'Donnell?
I didn't even remember his name.
I think he changed it to Rosie and gave up his TV show.
No. Same person?
Alicia Silverstone, she is getting an NBC sitcom this fall. That's where she's at for Movie Star.
It's called Blink or You Miss It. It's going to be the story of a young girl hosting a morning show with Booker.
And where's Uma? Where's Uma?
Uma will be back next year. Quentin Tarantino's come back. She's the star of Kill Bill.
Okay, so that's where Uma's been.
But she was, she went from Pulp Fiction to that. She was at the top of her game. She was a huge movie star. Nobody walked away, and then one person walked away as the biggest draw in movies today, George Clooney.
And it's awful, and it's absolutely true. My problem with Clooney was he was the one who laughed about it. That he killed the Batman franchise and then laughed about it instead of apologizing.
All right, that was what, Batman 5?
4.
4 is about as long as most movies get. Some of them go 5 or 6. But, they probably wrung every little drop out of that, don't you think?
I would think, because you have to look at it this way. If they did a Batman 5, who's going to be your villain? Mad Hatter? King
Tut? It's going to be Pumpkinhead starring Howard Stern.
The Scarecrow. Right. The Scarecrow.
He spread that rumor and nobody caught on to it.
The Scarecrow. See, you're really going down the villain food chain by the time you get to the Scarecrow.
Here's Sean. Sean, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, I just want to say about The Matrix, how it was written as a trilogy, so that's why I think the second one's going to hold up.
I hope so, man. Seriously, I'm hoping like I rooted for the Bucks. That's how I'm rooting for The Matrix.
Nice.
I'm out there like this is their Super Bowl, and I want them to do it.
Maybe you get a Matrix tattoo if it works.
And I remember you didn't know. There will not come a day. Well, I will sit there and think I need a tattoo. Chris, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Chris.
What about the horrible sequels they made after From Dusk Till Dawn?
I never saw any of them.
They did?
Yeah, they did.
They went straight to video, right?
They went straight to video, and actually, the guy that starred in the second one was the Terminator of T2, that skinny guy, Robert Patrick. And it was just the worst. I never saw the third one, but it went straight to video as well.
I had no idea they kept trying to make those movies.
Nothing. I think they just produced it. I think Tarantino and Rodriguez produced it, but it had nothing to do with the direction.
What they wanted to do was all just cheap horror films. And, it's just a stupid idea to begin with. That was a half a good movie to begin with.
That is really weird. That movie is 2 films.
Well, yeah, the first, the bank robbing thing with the great George Clooney, unbelievable, badass movie. And that's actually, I think, the movie that made Clooney a big star. And then it turned into the Thriller video, and I have no idea what happened. The second that girl stops dancing, the movie's in the trash. Here is, I'm going to guess it's AT or AT.
Hello, AT.
Yeah, what about the Lethal Weapon franchise?
What about it?
They've got better over time.
Oh, I would not say that, young man. The first one kicked ass. The second one a little worse, though finally they were cartoon. And actually, that's the franchise that killed Joe Pesci.
Right.
He's never limped out from under. Hey, is your name A.T.?
Yeah.
Okay, buddy. Thank you very much.
And what about Jack Nicholson? He walked away from the Batman franchise, too.
Who?
Jack Nicholson is the Joker in the original one.
Well, he only did one.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to come back.
Well.
Right,
yeah,
sure.
okay.
You weren't even born, man. You weren't even born.
866-277-4969.
Ron and Fez Show.